Two people at the altar, standing there, exchanging rings, exchanging vows. Just left the courthouse, you've signed the contract, and if anything goes wrong or if it stops working out, we always have that exit clause. Well, that's actually not the case. You see, there was someone else, a third party in that room, and he didn't sign in as a guest. He signed in as a witness, and what he witnessed, he does not forget. See, you can file the papers, you can sign the dissolution, you can change your name back, but the witness, he's still present.
I take you to be my wife.
And he never agreed to any exit clause. Most people have never been told what marriage actually is according to the scriptures.
I take you to be my wife.
They were told that it's about their happiness. Well, let's open the book for ourselves and see. This is the marriage section of the Sword OS. Marriage wasn't invented by a culture. It was the first thing that the Most High God said was missing.
Genesis 2:18. And the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an help meet for him."
Before there was sin, before there was a law, before there was even a single commandment, this was the very first deficiency named in the Bible, solved by marriage. And when he made the join, when he brought Adam and Eve together, listen to what he called it.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
One flesh. Not a partnership, not two people sharing an address. Two processes merged into one. And once the merge runs, you don't get the two original pieces back clean. And Jesus, quoting this same verse, look who he says owns that join.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 6. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
God joined, not the state, not the couple, not the officiant with the license and the pastor, but the Most High God did the joining, which means man does not have the authority to undo it. This is the design, engineered at the creation, sealed by Jesus, witnessed by the one who built it. Now, what was it built to produce? So let's run the query. What is marriage actually for? The culture has an answer ready. Some people get married because other people are getting married. Some people get married just because they want to have a wedding.
You look beautiful.
Some people get married for money. Marriage is for your happiness. It exists to make you feel complete, and if it stops doing that, you're free to shut it down. Well, the book returns a different value.
Malachi chapter 2, verse 15. And did not he make one? Yet had he the residue of the Spirit. And wherefore one? That he might seek a godly seed.
And wherefore one? Why did he join two into one? The verse answers its own question. That he might seek a godly seed. That stated output of the marriage join is offspring set apart for him. That reframes everything. Marriage is not a happiness delivery system that happens to produce children. It is a seed-producing system that happens to make you happy when you run it the way it was designed. And the seed is not a lifestyle accessory.
Psalm chapter 127, verse 3. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them.
And heritage, a reward, arrows in the hand of a mighty man. The home isn't a comfort zone, it's an armory, and the children are what gets sent out. But born godly is not the same as raised godly. The seed has to be disciplined.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6 and 7. And these words shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way.
Produce the seed, raise the seed. Marriage is the training ground for the next generation that carries his name. Thinking that it's just the two of us, that quietly cancels the reason the whole institution exists. Here is the lie that the whole culture runs on. It's just physical. It doesn't mean anything. It's just sex. Watch what Paul does with that.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of an harlot? God forbid.
Your body is already joined to something, a member of Jesus Christ. So casual sex isn't neutral. It drags that membership somewhere it has no business being. And then he says the part nobody wants to hear.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 16. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh.
For two shall become one flesh. That's the Genesis line. The same one flesh merged from the garden. And Paul says it fires even here, even with a stranger, even with someone you'll never see again. The bond does not check for a ring. It does not wait for a covenant flag. It runs on contact. So there's no such thing as meaningless. The merge completed whether you meant it or not. And you don't get the original pieces back clean. Which is why this is one sin he tells you not to fight.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18. Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body.
Every other sin you stand and fight. This one you run because it isn't out there. It's a wound to your own body. The covenant bond was built for one join. Spend it anywhere else, and you're tearing the same flesh the garden knit together. So you just saw what the one flesh bond does outside of the covenant. Now watch what it was actually designed to do inside of it. You see, the Most High God didn't just build marriage. He built a seal into it.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived.
The word "knew" in Hebrew is yadah. This isn't casual language. It's the deepest form of knowing the language has. Full, complete, covenant-level union. Consummation wasn't a wedded night tradition. It was the seal that closed the covenant. The joining was spoken at the altar. The seal was set in private. Together, those two acts completed what He, the Most High God, designed. And because it was a seal, it had weight, legal weight.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 13 and 14. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her and say, I found her not a maid.
The proof of virginity in Deuteronomy wasn't a cultural embarrassment. It was covenant evidence. If the marriage was not consummated, the covenant was challengeable. The physical union carried legal standing before the Most High God. The seal mattered that much. And inside the covenant, it was never optional.
1 Corinthians 7:3. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one the other.
Defraud ye not one the other. The marriage bed inside the covenant is not a reward you earn or a privilege you revoke. It is an obligation that runs both directions. Paul calls withholding it defrauding your spouse. That is not soft language. That is covenant language. And God's verdict on the bed inside the covenant is already on record.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled.
Undefiled. Inside the covenant, the bed is clean. It is honored. It is the seal the Most High built into the design from the beginning. So here's the full picture now. The one flesh bond fires outside the covenant, and it wounds. The same bond sealed inside the covenant, it completes. Same mechanism, two completely different outcomes depending on whether the covenant was set first. This is not an accident. This is how the system operates. Every marriage that ends has a moment like this one. It feels like a private matter between two people who fell out of love. Well, the scriptures say there were never only two people in it.
Malachi chapter 2, verse 14. Because the Lord hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously, yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant.
The Lord was the witness. He stood at the joining. So when the tearing comes, it isn't treachery against your spouse alone. It's treachery in front of the one who signed off on it. And he tells you plainly how he feels about divorce.
Malachi chapter 2, verse 16. For the Lord, the God of Israel, saith that he hateth putting away.
Not dislikes, not would prefer you work it out, hates. And what he hates, we don't get to relabel as freedom or a healing or as doing what's best for me. Now, I'm sure someone's already objecting. Didn't Moses allow divorce? He did. And Christ answered that directly.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 8. Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so.
The permission was a concession to hard hearts. It was never the design. From the beginning, it was not so. And then Jesus draws one line of when it is lawful.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 9. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery.
Except it be for fornication. One cause. Not incompatibility. Not we grew apart. Not unhappiness. One. This isn't cruelty. This is how seriously the witness takes what he joined.
This is absolutely ridiculous.
You cannot be serious right now.
How does anyone believe this?
This is pure garbage.
I am totally done.
This is the verse the internet fights about every single week. And almost nobody who fights about it reads past the first line.
Ephesians 5:22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body.
Let's stop there for a second. It sounds like control, but the verse names the pattern. The husband is the head as Christ is the head of the church. So the only question that matters is, how did Jesus lead? He wasn't a tyrant. Read what the husband is actually commanded to do.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Gave himself for it. The heavier command lands on the man, if you ask me. He is ordered to love her to the point of laying himself down. Headship is the death sentence before it's ever a privilege. The head is not the one who gets served. The head is the one who dies first.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 28 and 29. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it.
He treats her as his own body, which means neglecting her is self-harm. You wouldn't starve your own arm to win an argument. And then Paul binds both sides in a single breath.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 33. Let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband.
Sacrificial love, answered by reverence. 2 commands, both binding. You don't get to quote the submission verse and skip the death sentence that comes with it. The order was never oppression. The head is the one commanded to bleed. Love is love. Beliefs don't matter. As long as you love each other, the rest works itself out. Well, the book treats that as one of the most dangerous things you can believe about a marriage.
2 Corinthians 6:14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness?
A yoke binds 2 animals to pull as one. Mismatch them, and the plow never goes straight. One pulls towards the Most High God, the other pulls anywhere else. And the marriage drags sideways for decades.
I now bind you together.
1,
2, 3,
go!
And notice, the reason given is never about race. It's mechanical.
Deuteronomy 7:3-4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods.
The unbelieving spouse turns the heart, slowly, quietly, not by force, by proximity, by the daily pulling of the closest person in your life leaning the other way. And if you think you're the exception, you're the strong one who won't be moved, there is a case filed for that.
Nehemiah 13:26. Did not Solomon king of Israel sin by these things? Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin.
Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, the one who can outthink anyone in the room. Strange, wise, outlandish women turned his heart and pulled down his house. If the yoke took him down, it can take anyone. And when Israel finally saw it, the remedy wasn't a private feeling. It was an action.
Ezra 10:11. Now therefore make confession unto the Lord God of your fathers, and separate yourselves from the people of the land and from the strange wives.
You see what happens? The marriage bed stares the soul. That's not opinion. That's the graveyard of kings.
This is where the section stops being about other people. Maybe you're married. Maybe you've been divorced. Maybe you've never been close to it. Maybe the bags are by the door, packed up, ready to just go. This is not a lecture aimed at divorce. It's not a verdict on the single people. It's not the wisest king being held over your head. It's just one question, because we want to look on the inward instead of the outward. Not who's in your life that failed the standard. That's the easy question. It always points away from you. The hard one, do you actually believe what the book says marriage is? A covenant, witnessed by the Most High God, engineered for a godly seed, one flesh that does not come apart clean. Or have you quietly accepted the version that the culture sold you? a contract for your happiness with an exit clause that you're free to outgrow. Most people, when they sit with that honestly, they already know which version they've been living by. The hard part was never the answer. The hard part is what changes after it. This is not for you to decide in one video. This is for you to sit with. So let's bring it all in together. Genesis, two become one flesh, emerged by God's own hands. Malachi, the join exists to seek a godly seed, and the same God who joined it says he hates the tearing. Jesus, what God joined, let no man put asunder, one lawful cause, and the only one. Ephesians, the order is not controlled, the head is the one commanded to die first. The yoke stares the soul, and it took down the wisest king who ever lived. One institution, one witness, one verdict. It was never a contract you signed. It was a covenant that Jesus Christ himself witnessed. This is the marriage section of the Sword OS.
Make sure you guys check out the Sword OS app, where our marriage section is a lot more in-depth, in detail. If we were to make an entire video for the marriage section, it would probably be an hour long. So make sure you check that out. King James verses, cross-reference, 500 plus proofs, and counting. The whole system runs the same way. If this one reframes something for you, then the rest of the section will too. Subscribe if you want the next proof when it drops. Don't forget to comment, like, and share. Thank you so much for watching.